Hello, Maniacs, and again, welcome back to Marvel Maniac and MCU After Show. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest, and we are here back with a quick follow-up to yesterday's Fantastic Four instant reaction, because I couldn't stop thinking about the movie in my dreams and waking up this morning, and neither could the rest of the internet. I've been combing through some Reddit sections and reactions in this fine morning, and the buzz is absolutely real. From Galactus to Silver Surfer stands, there are people losing their minds over the Doom scene, and it's just all culminating into the hype fest that I've always known to be the MCU. I commented on a reply, the MCU had a few hiccups in this saga. However, we all know what it's capable of, which is a movie like this, movie like Thunderbolts. Even one of the fans was mentioning how we might have one of the best lineups in a row. It really might take like an iconic era, starting with the Thunderbolts / New Avengers, into Fantastic Four, into Spider-Man Brand New Day, into Doomsday, into Secret Wars, and probably a movie in between those two. But think about those banger titles. The only thing they have to mess up, well, is everything. Spider-Man, they got to get him right. I think it's going to be that street level story we want, ending in another multiversal shenanigan leading to Doomsday. And Doomsday itself, I love that they have a long time to make it what it needs to be for the fans. The fans deserve the very best, and if it's going to take a little bit longer to get us on that track, let's be honest, we want it to be good, not rushed. And I believe in the Russo brothers. I watched Infinity War last night because I couldn't stop thinking about Marvel, and I wanted to watch my favorite, most iconic movie, the climax of it, and kind of compare it to the world of Fantastic Four. And the contrast is beautiful, and they're both fantastic movies in their own right. And I'd say Fantastic Four has really, instant reactions really are a little biased because you let it settle, and then you kind of probably find a few other reasons maybe not to like it or like it more. But where I stand right now, where I sit, I believe that this is one of the most iconic movies that they've put for the first in a franchise. I think they can be, including the baby, younger Nathaniel, what's his name, Baby Richards. I think that there's so much story potential for the Fantastic Four that I hope they stay past Secret Wars and we get just a whole era of them in the Avengers and in the Mutant Saga. It was so well done. I want to see these actors thrive in these roles. And one negative thing I've seen is there's a lot of negative Pedro Pascal talk because he's in everything. But that's just an actor being successful. And there is another little bit of drama stirring up that I won't even talk about here. I don't dignify that type of conversation on this podcast. I'd rather just talk about the movie, how it worked. We can talk about Pedro Pascal, how he's in everything. But I think the real win here is he is in everything, but that didn't take away from the movie, which really says how good this movie is. If this man could find a definitive role after being in every single franchise, I think that he's a phenomenal actor and is capable of being the ultimate Reed Richards, and I think he showed that. I don't know if others will agree. We'll take a look at the Reddit right now. If you are looking for a good place to just read what the fans are saying, reddit.com/r/Marvel Studios. I've been coming here since like Age of Ultron, and they have threads just of the fans talking, instant reacting, and it is probably the most soothing thing you can do when your mind is so focused on the movie and seeing what everyone else thinks. It's a lot of fun. Right now, we only got a world release thread because it's still technically really early. It technically just came out today, 5 minutes ago, but seeing it on Thursday gives us a little time to think about what people are going to think about it overall after the weekend. So let's go on to the Reddit Marvel Studios, and I'm going to read a couple comments. Mambo Poa 09. I really thought they were going to fail and end up escaping to our Earth. Yes, I exactly thought that. Especially if you have the post-credit scene of Thunderbolts in mind, I think we're definitely led to believe that. And want to know what? I think Marvel is actually playing a really smart game with us. They're giving us information. They're not lying, but they're giving us the right, exactly worded information, and they are misleading in trailers a little bit, but they're doing a really good job of throwing the mystery around. Even though we know the casting, we do not know the story. The story can be anything in Doomsday. Secret Wars, we have a decent map, and we can kind of imagine where Doomsday will end based off of the story traditionally in the comic books of Secret Wars. So there's so much that can happen that they're playing with audience expectations, and the fact that they have a grasp on that tells me how confident they are in their story. There were some rumors / I don't know if it's confirmed that the script wasn't even finished and they've begun filming. That's not a huge change in the MCU. They actually have a full script and they're re-editing it to make it better. The people who think they're cheating or wrong for this, I'd say, wouldn't you want a better movie rather than their first take getting it wrong? I think there's a million people that think like that. I don't see why people want to rush things. I understand life is precious. We don't know. We can go anytime. I go to every Marvel movie on the day because of that. However, I can't live in dread, and I can only imagine I will be here in a couple years, and these movies are going to be really good, and it's honestly good to have something to look forward to that big. So apparently I made a mistake last night and remembered the Earth 838, but it was 828, according to Competitive Fox 3050 on Reddit. So it was Earth 828, and 828 is Jack Kirby's tribute reveal at the end, and I thought that was lovely, and that's exactly what Competitive Fox said. A lovely bit of business. And the reply to that first one, Cap for Life, that was great, and absolutely was. And I like that there's no like real specific reasoning behind the numbers, mostly of the universes, as long as we know. Well, we don't really know. It's kind of mixed up because Earth 616 is what our Avengers call our Earth, what our Earth calls our Earth, but in the comic books and in the full continuity of actually everything, it's Earth 19999. I think 4 nines. Sound like a freaking Nazi. That's not very appropriate, but anyway, I sounded like Hydra. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, Ultra Romero 7 says Silver Surfer chasing Excelsior was one of the most visually beautiful scenes from Marvel in a long time, and heck yeah, the reply to that, Jimmy the Nice, she effing surfed the waves of a century on disc. The 4-year-old me is squealing. Is that when she was? It might be stupid. Is that when she was following them through the wormhole? I thought that was fantastic. That's the name of the ship is Excelsior. See, I'm still learning as we go. I want to see this movie in theaters again, and I really wanted to see Thunderbolts again. It's sometimes hard for me to get back to the theater, so I might just have to wait till Disney Plus. But you'll be hearing more about this movie because it's just like an Iron Man to me. I think I'm going to watch it a million times, no matter how it's received, which has been received pretty good. I think I'm going to be coming back to this one just for comfort. It's just a comforting movie. Even though the world is at stake, the lighthearted tone, the outfits, the colors, the homage, the fact that they're Earth's only heroes, so the whole world rallies around them, the fact that we know it's in a multiverse shared with our multiverse, but they're not afraid to just keep a whole movie from this world, making this world actually matter, letting us believe that this world didn't matter in the trailers, and from the post-credit scene of Thunderbolts, letting us think that they left their world and abandoned their world, and their stories are being pushed forward by the guilt of failing their world and saving it from Galactus. That was my expectation. Blown out of the water. Possibilities are endless, right? Captain Jables on Reddit really liked the family dynamic. Much preferred the friendly jokiness between Johnny and Ben rather than the much more mean-spirited stuff from the old movies. Yeah, I can agree with that. I think Johnny and Ben both exceeded expectations. You know, they're part of the Fantastic Four, but we don't really get to see as much of them in the trailers via conversating and talking to each other. And there is that banter they share, but it's way more friendly and out of love than kind of really digging into the thing. And I said this last night. I personally really liked that Ben Grimm wasn't having an identity crisis. Maybe he did when he became the Thing 4 years prior, but it's just a nice aspect to the story that doesn't have to be laid into every Fantastic Four story where I wish I was human again. And there's a little hint, he'll see himself on the TV and he looks a little sad, but from when he went up in space beforehand, there's found footage. But I really like the way he's portrayed in this movie. I think it was a really good deal, a really good idea to not have him be a sulky, sad character and just to have him be a bit of comic relief, an amazing fit of strength, and just the perfect addition. Let's go to the next comment. Apex Thinker 1001 says, Galactus was fire. I loved his voice, appearance, and personality. Ralph Lenson was fire. Speaking about fire, dude, Johnny was such a nice character. It's such a nice take of the character, and he was very clear, very clever throughout all the movies. Toretto will be proud of the Fantastic Four. They are truly a family. We need a moment to appreciate how cute baby Franklin is in every single time he appears. I agree. What a cute baby. How does this baby have Galactus-like powers? How does Galactus turn that baby into him? There's a process there that I don't even want to know about. And I agree. Galactus, they did him right. If they did him wrong, that would have been a really bad sign. It would have been horrible. Galactus is such a big character. It's almost like I was worried they'd mess him up. Like, I'm sorry, but I think they could have done MODOK a little bit better, and they could have not killed him off and given him a chance to be like actually like a villain for like, I don't know, just a middle of the line Avengers movie. He's a cool villain, but that's not what we're talking about. Galactus was done perfect in my opinion. And I agree. Johnny was a nice character. I like the flames. I like that he's so in control of him that he's not really setting everything on fire. He can actually like stand in flames in rooms and stuff. And I like his optimistic curiosity. I really think Johnny is frickin' fire. The family aspects are real here, and that's what's really important. The first reply to Apex Thinker is Drogo Omega. Glad they showed him to be smart rather than a bland trope of a womanizer and nothing more. Yes, that's for Johnny Storm. 100%. They put effort into these characters' likability. They want it to feel like a family, that you care about everyone in the family. And the robot. I don't think I've seen anyone talk about the robot. I think his name was Herbie. I love that. What a cute addition. See, like, that's such a great addition that people aren't talking about because the movie was so good. There's so many talking points. But the robot was so great. And I found it endearing / terrifying that it was the only thing standing between Galactus and Franklin Richards towards the end. Admiral Charleston on Reddit says, I really love how even with what little of the Mole Man we saw, you could instantly understand that he clearly has a connection to Sue, even though he wants to mess with the guys. I feel like this universe is the perfect way of capturing that old comic book thing of defeating villains when a slap on the wrist and giving them a finger waggle while you tell them not to do it again. That's a good point. The first response to that, no imagination, 2490. I love how much Reed and Johnny absolutely loathe the Mole Man. You could tell this was something that he had been going on for years, even though this is the first time we've seen these characters. It was a great way of showing that this is a fully fleshed out universe and the characters haven't simply popped into existence for this 2-hour movie. No imagination, couldn't have put it better. The world building was real. You care about this world. You fall in love with the theme, like that's the tone of the movie. There's something very comforting about it. And the idea of them failing and leaving all those people to die, I don't even think us as an audience would be able to forgive them, because that's just so complicated. The world, if the world didn't depend on them as much, like their world depends on them and actually looks, oh, there's a problem, Fantastic Four? Where are you? Like that, they're the protectors of this earth. Like she, like is asked by the Silver Surfer, and man, Invisible Woman. I gotta know the actress's name, but she is so good. I loved her performance in this. Let's go a few more comments. I don't want to go too long with this. This is just a follow-up. But honestly, there's hype here, and I like sharing it with you guys. I think this is the best way. If you want to send me your take, you got something unique, or just something you want to say, how you felt about the movie, email marvelmaniacpod@gmail.com. Don't hesitate. We'll be read on the show. Unless you want to just send an email, just say, don't put this on the show. I wanted to just tell you this. Please be polite. And while I'm here doing the promotional stuff, I guess, we have patreon.com/MarvelManiac, where you can come every week. Saturdays, we have 5-minute minisodes breaking down different aspects of the MCU, different movies, and we can add you and will add you to our wall of heroes. featuring Michael Finney, the first hero on our wall. We're still getting started in a sense here at Marvel Maniac. The amount of time on paper I've been doing this podcast, 4 years. The amount of time in between with mental breaks and whatnot, it's been about a 2-year run of this podcast combined and 2-year off time. And I won't get too far into why, but if listeners are listening this far into an episode, maybe you deserve an answer. You know, I was going through mental health stuff, and I didn't want to put that into the show that I loved and started building. Always was a plan to come back, and I'm proud to say that this is the first full year, starting with Deadpool and Wolverine, that I've been posting weekly and haven't stopped, and I will not stop. I love Marvel so much. And thank you for listening and being here with me along for this very special ride. 1 or 2 more comments from Reddit, and we'll wrap this up. Def Not Maddie says, Sue Storm finally showing her real potential in this movie after years of getting ignored. Take that dog Galactus for a walk, mother. I love that. Absolutely. Yeah, I didn't know she was capable of like force-like abilities. I only knew her to be invisible. And in the Jessica Alba version, I mean, she's beautiful, but like all I can think of is the scene where she's figuring out her powers, all of them figuring out their powers. Marvel is big on kind of leaving that in the history of the team for the most part. And I like that because we don't need to see the origin like in Spider-Man. We don't need to see him get the spider bite because we know it. We've seen it. It's pretty much like lore for our world at this point. If you don't know it, you are not really probably a fan of any superhero movies. I don't know. I can't speak for you. The reply to that is, dude, when Sue started pushing him back and then kept on doing it, yes, you can visually see how much Galactus was struggling. He was. That look on his face was priceless, you know? He was shocked. I was like, holy fucking shit, Sue is a beast. Valar Pizza Eris. That was his reply. Oh my goodness, his or her. I can't tell if that's a lady name, but it doesn't matter. Either way, very good point. And the reply to that North Shore problem, it's also really dope that for an entire movie that was them trying to solve their problems with plans and science, and at the end of the day, they won by kicking ass with superpowers. Yes! I'm hyped about this movie. I wish I could. I'm going to walk over there and watch it right now again. Sneak in. Just watch it all day. It's the last comment I'm going to read, you guys. We got CSQUR. I don't know how to pronounce that. This felt like a big thank you letter to Jack Kirby after spending so long honoring Stan Lee. The film really felt proud of the fact that it was a comic book movie and didn't shy away from that at all. If this ends up being the direction things go after Doomsday, I'd be happy with that. Me too. And the top reply to that, Bravo997 says, am I crazy or was there a duo reacting to the Silver Surfer comments and such that looks suspiciously like a young Kirby and Lee with comic book art and drawing boards all over the apartment? Someone else replied, yes, and even had the old Marvel logos on the walls back when it was Timely Comics. Oh my gosh. See, you go on Reddit, you learn things. Reddit.com/r/Marvel Studios. Don't miss out on great conversation and top tier comments. It's going to fill a hole in you. That's all I'll say. Well, I think I delivered some of my own thoughts on the movie. I think it's clear that I loved it. I want to know what you think. MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. If you can, leave a review on the show or rate us 5 stars. Whatever platform you're listening on, if you upvote us, it means the world. And it helps us get out there. And it is my actual dream to make this podcast a success. I'm in love with doing this. And I'd like you to stay with me for the ride. And I want to keep going, like all the way through. And thank you for being here. I said that 5 times. I'm off the cuff today. I'm just speaking to you person to person. And we will talk more about Fantastic Four and the direction of the MCU. We have Loki, episode 3 coming out on Wednesday. And for Friday, it's a surprise / I'm still figuring out my next possible series to go over. And we'll talk more about that when it comes. For now, let's just revel in the excitement of Fantastic Four and First Steps and go see it again if you can. Thank you for being here. This is Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest, Marvel Maniac and MCU After Show. And until next time, Avengers, disassemble.